Imagine walking down a quiet school hallway, your mind on nothing more than your next class, when suddenly, someone grabs you by the collar, yanks you backward, and slams you against a cold metal locker. The voices around you go quiet. Phones come out. Everyone watches. And what you do next will decide whether you spend the rest of the year as a victim, or as someone no one dares to mess with again. That's exactly the moment Amara Johnson found herself in, and what she did shocked everyone. Amara had thought moving from Atlanta to this small town would be the hardest part. Her mom promised it would be a new beginning, but to Amara, it felt more like a punishment. At Jefferson High, everyone seemed to know everyone. They grew up together, went to the same elementary schools, played in the same sports leagues. She was the outsider, the tall girl with dark skin, natural curls, and a quiet, serious demeanor. On her second day, she heard whispers. "Where's she from? Did you see her hair? She's pretty, but different." At first, she ignored it. She'd been taught to keep her head high and focus on her goals. But in a place like this, different often became target. It was Tuesday morning, third period. Amara left class a few minutes early to grab her math homework from her locker before the bell. The hall was almost empty, except for them. Brett, tall, broad-shouldered, with a permanent smirk that screamed arrogance. Kyle, not as big, but faster to anger. And Lindsay, the girl who never seemed to laugh unless someone else was getting hurt. They spotted her immediately. "Hey!" Brett called, his voice echoing in the hallway. "New girl. The one from Atlanta, right?" Amara kept her eyes on her locker combination. "Yeah. So?" Brett stepped closer, his sneakers squeaking on the tiles. "So, I heard people like you think you're better than us." Amara froze for a moment. "People like me?" she repeated, her voice calm. That's when Kyle moved in, quick as a snake, and grabbed her by the collar of her hoodie. The sudden yank slammed her back against the lockers, hard enough to make the metal rattle. The cold from the locker seeped through her shirt. Kyle's face was inches from hers, his breath hot and sour. "You think you can just walk around here like you own the place?" he sneered. Around them, a few students had stopped walking. Some peeked around corners. Phones appeared in hands. Whispers spread. Brett folded his arms, watching like it was a show. Lindsay giggled, eyes glittering with the thrill of cruelty. Everyone expected Amara to shrink, to look away, to beg him to stop. Instead, she smiled. It wasn't big, and it wasn't nervous. It was the kind of smile that said you have no idea what you've just done. "You've got 3 seconds to let go," she said quietly. Kyle laughed. "Or what?" "1, Amara said. Her voice didn't waver. Her eyes didn't move from his. 2, she said, slower this time. The laughter from Brett and Lindsay faltered just a little. Something about the way she was so calm, it was unsettling. By the time she drew breath 4, 3, Kyle's grip had loosened, but not enough. Before he could react, Amara moved. She grabbed his wrist, twisted it away from her collar in one swift, practiced motion, and stepped sideways. His body lurched forward. She swept her foot behind his ankle, a simple but devastating trip. Wham! Kyle hit the floor hard, the sound echoing down the hallway. Gasps rippled through the small crowd. Someone whispered, "She knows martial arts or something." Brett's smirk vanished. Lindsay's mouth hung open. Kyle scrambled up, his face red. "You're gonna pay for that." No, Amara said, her voice like steel. You're going to walk away. Brett put a hand on Kyle's chest. Dude, leave it. Not worth it. The three of them backed off, muttering under their breath. The tension in the hallway broke. A girl with a backpack covered in pins walked up to Amara. That was amazing. You just took down Kyle Henderson. No one does that. Amara shrugged, turning back to her locker. I told him to let go. By lunch, the story was everywhere. Some students were impressed. Some were afraid. Some warned her she'd made enemies with the wrong people. But Amara didn't care. She had been raised to know her worth, and that meant never letting anyone strip away her dignity. The next day, something unexpected happened. Lindsay, without Brett or Kyle, walked up to her in the hallway. She wasn't smirking. She wasn't laughing. I'm sorry, she said quietly. I shouldn't have laughed yesterday. Amara studied her. Don't apologize to me, she said. Just, don't do that to anyone else. Lindsay nodded, then walked away. Over the next few weeks, Amara's place in the school shifted. She wasn't the new girl anymore. She wasn't a target. She was someone you didn't mess with. Brett and Kyle never came near her again. In fact, they seemed to avoid eye contact whenever she passed. One evening, her mom asked, So, how's it going at school? Making friends? Amara smiled faintly. Yeah. And I learned something, bullies count on you being scared. Once they see you're not, they lose all their power. Final message. Sometimes, the most shocking thing you can do, is refuse to be afraid.